Borderline personality disorder is a misunderstood illness which affects more than 200,000 Australians. Its symptoms include depression and wildly fluctuating mood swings. Sufferers say the mental health system offers patchy treatment at best. They claim they're accused of attention-seeking and often refuse treatment. To tell the story, Alex Mann has gathered powerful and sometimes confronting material from those affected by the illness.
Lisa's got a whole lot of activities that she does to keep her hands busy. It's part of her way of managing her anxiety. So knitting is one of them.
25-year-old Lisa Marie rarely heads outside alone.
It does get hard because I never know from hour to hour how my paranoia or anxiety is going to be.
This afternoon she's playing it safe, knitting beanies in her mum Karen's backyard in Adelaide.
You're going to need more wool. Yeah.
Lisa Marie was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder 5 years ago. The illness has manifested itself in a number of ways, including anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder and bulimia.
Over 12 years I've been in and out of hospitals, psych wards, detox, rehabs, you name it. But the problem has always been that I've been kicked out for self-harm, which of course all psychiatrists will tell you is a part of BPD.
We would talk about doctors, or talk about it with doctors, and nobody really had any support for us. So a lot of it was floundering for years.
Borderline personality disorder is a misleading label. It doesn't refer to a problem with Lisa Marie's personality, but to her mix of symptoms located on the borderline between psychosis and neurosis. Lisa Marie says the name makes it worse.
When I present to the emergency department, I feel like once they see on the records that I've got borderline, that they don't take it seriously because it's not considered a major mental health issue.
And what happens next when they don't take you seriously?
I get more frustrated, go home and cut again.
It's stigmatised, it's not treated as a mental health issue. They're treated as badly behaving people.
The search for better care has brought Karen to this Adelaide support group. It was set up for the fatigued carers of people with borderline personality disorder.
We've had a tumultuous couple of weeks. She was having visions and hearing things, and she went there to ED asking for help to stop herself from self-harming, because that's what she would normally do.
Without anyone?
With nobody seeing her. No.
We've been hearing quite a bit of this sort of thing around the traps of other people.
Virtually every major mental illness can be represented within a borderline personality disorder diagnosis, which is quite unusual.
People with borderline can present to hospitals over and over again, often with self-inflicted wounds.
The people in the emergency departments become disillusioned, demoralised, frustrated, because it seems that nothing is being achieved here, that the person with BPD is just being difficult, if you like, and that whatever they do, whatever the staff do, doesn't seem to be effective.
2 years ago, Dr Kent completed separate reports for the federal and South Australian governments on how to deal with BPD patients. Since then, both reports have sunk without a trace. Dr Kent's reports highlight major gaps in service delivery and find that patients are often treated poorly or not taken seriously. They recommend setting up targeted services in each state and more training for frontline staff.
On the one hand, we know it's treatable. On the other hand, people are crying out for services which are patchy at best and essentially do not exist to an adequate degree, and I am sure that people are harming themselves and dying as a result.
Lucy Henry's family know too well the consequences of this lack of treatment.
She was a very, very, very tortured woman, as people are with this condition. In some ways, as sad as it sounds, I'd love to have her back, but I know that she's at peace.
Lucy's brother and girlfriend watched for years as she visited hospital emergency departments over and over again.
In my mind, it's anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 entries into hospital and self-harm.
In 2003, Lucy presented to a Hobart emergency department and threatened to set herself on fire. She wasn't taken seriously and was sent home.
I think given Lucy's history, I think they definitely should have taken it more seriously.
She went outside to have a cigarette. Mum and Dad were finishing off their dinner. She'd gone into the laundry and pulled out a bottle of metho, poured it on her chest and set fire to it. The next thing my father knew, that he saw his daughter walking around the backyard on fire and had to hose her down.
The incident left her with horrific burns. Against all the odds, Lucy was hopeful about her recovery and began sharing her experiences in public.
I like to speak about my experiences with borderline personality disorder. I want to try and humanise it. I'd like other people that have the diagnosis to know that it's not a death sentence and know that it's not a consignment to the too hard basket, or it shouldn't be.
In the end, though, borderline personality disorder was a death sentence for Lucy Henry. There was no specialist service where she lived, and she was trying to raise money to travel interstate. The money didn't come soon enough, and she suicided late last year.
The opportunities for Lucy to receive the treatment that she needed simply, it would appear, were not available in Tasmania.
Hi, come in, have a seat.
Melbourne's Spectrum Clinic is one of only a handful of clinics Australia-wide that specialise in treating patients with borderline personality disorder. It's the model that Dr. Martha Kent believes should be replicated all over the country.
It is no longer true to believe that borderline personality disorder is not a treatable condition. It's actually a myth. However, treatments have to be undertaken by people who are trained to provide these sort of disorders. Okay, and we have very specific psychological treatments which works quite well for these patients.
Lucy Henry's family believe if she had the care she needed or access to a centre like Spectrum, she might still be alive.
Definitely if there was, I suppose, a different approach with her and the information was available and the frontline staff had it, and they were using different techniques, then definitely Lucy, I reckon, would still be around today.